I met her. She's wonderful. I'm Christina. She's my youngest.
And so,
You know what I mean? And so yeah, Marta rather.
Bartholomew.
He was on a thorny vine.
My parents did that for 50. Yeah, man. Dear friends, today we are, of course, remembering the great philosopher. As Thomas Aquinas referred to Aristotle, I think it is a great point to refer to our friend as the great philosopher. Because through his love of wisdom, he touched each and every one of us in a direct and, I think, for me, permanent way. So let's call him to mind. I found this passage in the Book of Wisdom. Where else? Chapter 3. But the souls of the just are in God's hands, and no torment in death itself has power to reach them. Dead? Fools think so. Think that their end is their loss. Their leaving us is annihilation. But all is well with them. The world sees nothing but the pains they endure. They themselves have eyes only for what is immortal. So light their suffering, so great the gain they win. God, all the while, did but test them, and testing them, found them worthy of him. That's certainly true. I had the pleasure of meeting Donald, and I think an introduction to philosophy, which of course, as everything else, he taught excellently. And being a flatterer, I decided to go visit him in his office. Kind of boost the grade. Wipe the brown from my nose. I noticed that he had a statue of Shiva on his desk. He always had a statue of Shiva on his desk. And even at home, in Carson City, it was sitting where his computer was. And this was sitting next to his bed. And I asked him about this statue because it's a very complex thing. And he explained it to me. There's Shiva in the middle of a ring of fire. That's the creation, the ring of fire. And he's not frightened. On the contrary, he's dancing. In his right hand, he holds a little hourglass-looking thing. That's a small Indian drum. It's called a tabla. And it beats out the rhythm of his dance as he dances. The dance of creation. This, in his left hand, he holds a ball of fire. The element of destruction. Creation, destruction. And he dances in the midst of it. He dances wildly. His hair is flinging out into the universe. And his pet cobra is flinging out too. He dances. Hop, skip, jump. Conception, birth, youth, old age, death. conception, birth, and so forth. Now, in the face of this apparently random dance of creation and destruction, we kind of step back. Is everything meaningless? Is that all there is? Well, with this hand, Shiva is pointing down. He directs our gaze down. To what? If you look carefully, you'll see that down here is a malignant-looking little dwarf. That malignant-looking little dwarf that Shiva is dancing on his back and breaking his back is the ego. It's egoism that he is dancing on and breaking its back. But that's not what Shiva's pointing to. No, he's pointing to his left leg. His left leg is raised up from the earth in a gesture of transcendence. Transcend birth and death. Transcend living in the circle of fire by crushing your ego. That thing that thinks in terms of I, me, mine, that thinks in terms of the material only. Crush it! And just like Shiva, you will dance. And as this leg raises up, to what does it turn? It directs our gaze to his right hand, which is lifted like this, in a universal gesture of peace. So, through breaking the back of our ego and transcending the dance of creation and destruction, we achieve a kind of peace. That's what Donald taught me in that afternoon. And I don't think I shall ever forget it, unless, of course, I've used too much aluminum cookware. If anyone else has any reminiscences that they'd care to bring up, speak, please feel free to do so. No one?
You say no at the grocery store. You only have to say no once. Words of wisdom from God. Ice cream, etc.
I would just like to say that that Donald Hanks was a lifelong, wonderful, dear friend, and that's uncalculable.
Certainly.
So
Yes.
that's all I'd like to say. Loved him dearly and miss him, but loved his life.
Well, that's the thing. To me, from my perspective, there's no need to think of his not being here, quote unquote, because a lot of what he said and a lot of what he showed still is with me and still with you and it's still with everyone. Some of us have the good fortune of having it genetically. Some of us have the good fortune of our memories. And he does live still. And I, from a Catholic perspective, hope to see him again. Because I'm sure that now he is teaching logic to the seraphim, who don't really need it. All right. Yes, Molly, please.
So, my dad, he got me my first cell phone at age 13. And so you can imagine the average 13-year-old with a cell phone just all day, every day, next day. Well, when someone would ask, what are you up to? And I would just be like, oh, just listening to some Wagnerian opera. They'd be just like, You don't know? It just be, well, no, I don't know. And I'm really thankful for having a teacher for a dad, especially a philosophy professor for a dad, because I feel far more enlightened than I would have been at that age. Because of him, I've really grown as a student and as a person. And you all would know by meeting him that he was very intelligent. He always had something to say about everything. He was very opinionated, and thanks to him, I am the way that I am. And I hope that he's changed you all in some way. Thank you.
I don't have to say anything.
Oh, well,
There we go.
Squashing the ego, as it were.
this contains his ashes. And Douglas, would you scatter some into the lake? And anyone else who wishes, like the family, scatter them over by those trees. His mother and father, his mother had, his family had one of the most wonderful experiences in her life, she said, at this very place. And that's why he asked that his remains be scattered here. His father's ashes are scattered here, and so are hers. So, Douglas, if you would, just put some in the lake, and then pass it on.
Look at him.
Just a little, then it can probably get weather. While the spread of banquet before me, with my head well filled in my heart. All my life thy loving favor.
Where to put Dawn? Where to put Dawn?
Through the long years, the Lord's house shall be my dwelling place.
There's a lizard. Put Dawn on the lizard. Sago. The tree with flowers, she goes there too. Very good.
Pretty fast.